Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the darkest timeline. I think we can all agree this is absolutely the darkest timeline. But in this version of the darkest timeline, we're talking day trips, ice cream, golf, climbing. Oh, it's a very active podcast this week. Interesting. Before we get started, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Drop us a review where you can drop us a review. Share the podcast around people. That's the main one. If you know somebody who's into podcasts, say, hey, I know a good podcast. And then maybe also tell them about this one while you're telling them about that good one. Right, let's get going. Here we go. This is CookieCast, the darkest timeline. Hello. How you doing? You alright? You well? You good? Good. Oh my word. Why is it so late? I am, of course, telling fibs. I know exactly why it's as late as it is. And it's all self-inflicted. All of it is self-inflicted. All of it. So, shouldn't ask silly questions you already know the answer to. One of those podcasts this week where X amount of it came together today. Other elements did not. So, summer holidays, children holidays, kids holidays, summer holidays, whatever you want to call it. Decided, let's go for a day out, which is what we did. Paid our money, went to a place. I'm a little undecided on this one. I was questioning whether to use the name of the place we went to. On one hand, I don't think it makes a huge amount of, it's not a huge deal. On the other, I don't want it to feel like I'm throwing shade. Because as a review, not gonna lie, not gonna be a great review. Decided to go for a day out. Went to a stately home. Did not go for the stately home part of it. It's a stately home that has the house, the gardens, large surrounding area, but also has animals, a park, cafe, that kind of thing. So in a situation like that, with 4 children, all under a particular age, you're not exactly there for the stately home aspect, you're there for everything else. They wanted to see the animals, they wanted to go in the park. From the literal moment we arrived, it was kind of downhill. First thing they said, literally got to the gate. First thing they said, can you go and park in the overflow car park? Now, in a situation like this, you go, well, it's summer holidays. Of course it's busy. From memory, they don't have a massive car park at the front. So, absolutely acceptable thing to go and park in the overflow car park. No issues there. Which would have been fine if we hadn't been driving for like 10 minutes. After that, going, where exactly is this overflow car park? Now, I will say this. Having driven and parked, got everyone out, sun cream, which was an unusual thing to have to do, and off we went. We were literally just there. It wasn't It wasn't a million miles away from where we needed to be. But that in turn also begs the question, why did it take so long to get there? It wasn't like, here's the main car park and here's the overflow car park. It was drive this way for 20 miles and park up. And I know it wasn't just me, because I wasn't the first person to say, where's this overflow car park? So, honestly, we get there. There's a sign. Informing us that the toilets are out of order. Which, you know, when there's 6 of you, it's a fair assumption somebody's going to need the toilet. I'm like, hang on a minute. You can't tell me the toilets are out of order. But there was more to the sign. Toilets are out of order. You have to use the other ones. Okay, that's fine. So, thank you, computer. Thank you for that information. So, we head off. And I was like, I was feeling a little bit, I don't know how to explain it, a bit like, ooh, I'm gonna have a treat today, that kind of thing. Sometimes when you spend all of your time just living a certain life in a certain way, sometimes it's nice to be able to say, screw it, today I'm having a treat. And it was one of those days. So I was like, look, let's hit the cafe, get the coffees on the go, job done. Got to the cafe. I walked in, got in the queue. As we were closing in on the front of the queue, I became aware of something. I was like, hang on a minute, there's something going on here. There's something going on when people are getting to the front of the queue. And then I realised, another sign. Oh, what does this sign say? Due to a fault with our coffee machine, we cannot make the following coffees. And the following coffees were any coffees. Underneath that it said, we can provide filter coffee and tea. I'm like, I don't want to be that guy, but we've been here a matter of minutes. And so far, apparently everything's broken. And again, I don't want to be that guy, but if this is the start, the beginning, the start of the summer holidays, would it not have been a good idea when you're having to use your overflow car park because you're that busy? Would it not have been a good idea to get these things fixed? You know, your toilets, your coffee machine. And subsequently later found out your water filtration system for the animals. You know, the water-based animals. What was nice, though, was that they didn't adjust any of the prices for the coffees. So what you got was you had the opportunity to pay full price for one of the many coffees on the list that they weren't able to make, but just for a filter coffee. So that was great. So I'm like, okay, let's salvage this situation. I'd seen there was 2 places you could get ice cream. I'm like, okay, there. I'm sure everybody wants an ice cream. Who wants an ice cream? Everybody apart from one person wants an ice cream. We'll get to that in a minute. Right, okay, you guys come with me. We'll go get an ice cream. Job done. It was what I would call like a Mr. Whippy ice cream van versus like a scoop. We get down there, small queue, nothing drastic. Okay, let's queue. We're getting closer, we're getting closer, we're getting closer. I'm like, are my eyes playing tricks on me? Is this an optical illusion of some description? Because those prices on the side of that ice cream van look like absolute insanity. How much do you want to pay for a 99? Not much. It's a cone with some whippy and a flake. A small one, a large one, whatever. How much do you want to pay for like Cadbury's equivalent of a Magnum? How much do you want to pay for a tub of ice cream? I have never in my life spent that much money on ice cream. And I know what you're thinking. Well, maybe you just don't get the ice cream. Maybe you just walk away. Maybe you don't spend that kind of money. Yeah, you try that with a load of children in tow. So, to put a cherry on top of this shit sundae, see what I did there? Little ice cream reference. One of said children had gone with, I don't want an ice cream. And I'm like, are you insane? Now then, this is where knowing your audience comes into play. So I was like, I know why you don't want an ice cream. So I'm going to go with, look, they've got other ice cream. I don't want an ice cream. I was like, well, there's a place here that's got ice cream. They must do like the kind that you like, surely. I was like, let's go and have a look here. All right, okay. And I went and I looked. And I was like, hey, this ice cream sounds amazing. You know, when it's like, we could do chocolate chip, but instead it's like, what was it called? It was like peppermint slices and like you know, like a mint ice cream. But it was like, you know, instead of chocolate orange, it was like blood orange and blah, 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 blah. And then like sea salt and carrot. You know, it was very whatever. So I was like, oh my God, these sound amazing. Why don't you get one of these? And said child was like, actually, yeah, that sounds good. I was like, I can guarantee it'll be like, you know, they'll do you like a scoop in a tub sort of thing. Job done. Oh yeah, go on then, I'll have this one. All right, cool. So the guy comes. I'm like, I'll have a tub with some of this ice cream in, please. Now, this is the second lot of ice cream I've bought. This is 20 yards from the ice cream van, which in a way felt unnecessary, but whatever. So he's like, yeah, sure. Yeah. Couple of scoops of this fancy ice cream in a tub. Bear in mind, like I've just said, fancy ice cream in a tub. I'm like, this is going to be like £5.50, £6, whatever. Let's just get through the punching me in the face for ice cream section of the day, shall we, and move on. At which point it was like, oh, it's £2, please. I'm like, what? So I paid the £2, sent the child off with the ice cream, went back to the table, was like, what just happened? Like, they've got fancy ice cream over there that sounds amazing. I had a little bit. It tasted amazing. I'm like, we should have just gone there and I wouldn't have had to remortgage the house. By this point, I'm like, well, this has been an absolutely fantastic day. There was a point where Leon was talking to me about how much it had cost to get in, how much it had cost for, like, to get there. As a whole, how much it had cost for a day out. So she went through it, broke it down. 6 of us, obviously, you know, in places like this, the little one is free, the next little one's reduced, and then, you know, by the time you get to the bigger ones, they're kind of full price, or certainly a child price. And then adults, adult prices. So she went through this breakdown of stuff, and when she finished, I went, that's interesting, because I've spent more than that today so far on food and drink. Cannot express the utter insanity of the whole system. So like I say, off we go and look at the animals, then, fair enough, there's some animals, there's some birds, there's some, whatever. Not the worst place I've ever been to look at animals, not the best place I've ever been to look at animals. Came out, went into the park, I was like, this park was a lot bigger from what I remember. And I don't mean like, one of those where you go as a child and you're like, oh, it was bigger when I was a kid. And then you realise that you're just bigger. Not that situation. I'm like, came here 5 years ago, park was definitely bigger. Had more stuff kind of situation. So that was the fantastic day out. Something that was also fantastic. It's hard to break it down, but my son took one of my daughter's soft toys. One of those, it's a soft toy from a program that she used to be into when she was little. She is not as little, has absolutely no interest in that program. In fact, she couldn't tell you the characters' names now if you gave her a million guesses, she wouldn't be able to tell you. That kind of situation. So, the soft toy has been kind of handed down, as you'd expect. He's younger. He will get some enjoyment out of it. He loves the soft toys. Doesn't know the TV program. He had a collection of things. He had a jacket, but he wasn't wearing it. It was draped over him. He had the soft toy, and there was something else. Oh, he has like a little, like a toy phone. And as we were leaving the car, I was like, I really don't think it's a good idea for him to bring all this stuff, because all I can see is something gets lost. Eventually, the jacket got packed away in the pushchair somewhere, and the phone got packed away in the pushchair. Got back to the car, like, hey, where's the soft toy gone? Oh, is it in the bottom of the pushchair? It is not in the bottom of the pushchair. Is it in the back of the pushchair? It's not in the back of the pushchair. Oh, that soft toy is lost. Now then, it happens. One of those things, it happens. But I keep coming back to it going, oh man, I feel like we've left a man behind. And it was simply one of those situations that we physically didn't have the time to go back and retrace our steps. We physically didn't have the time to go and ask if they had a lost property or if somebody had handed it in. We wouldn't even know where to go to ask that. At no point in time could anybody tell us when they last saw the soft toy with the child and at which point essentially the soft toy went missing, to try and trace it through, because I could have just run back and gone, oh look, here's the soft toy. But I can't help feeling like we left a man behind. And what makes it worse is he has a big one and a little one, and we've still got the little one. So every time I see the little one, I go, oh, we left a man behind. And you never leave a man behind. Add to that the whole Toy Story aspect, and, I was a mess. So, a while ago, it must be a fair while ago now. It's long enough ago that I can't remember. Me and my eldest went climbing together. And I talked about it at the time. I was super like, I'm gonna do it, and I'm not gonna be scared of it, and I'm gonna do it, and that's that. Summer holidays. So my eldest like, hey, are you gonna climb when I go climbing? I was like, I guess so, yeah. And part of me was like, I'll just say no. She's not massively interested about whether I'm going, I don't think. She just wants to do the climbing, and that's perfectly fine. I'm not offended, but so I'm like, I think I'm gonna have to do it. I think that's the short version. So I was like, right, okay, we're gonna go on a particular day. I will come and I will do it. Secretly, sneakily, I knew that it meant I didn't have to run that day, because I was going to have to get up at I think I got up at 5:30, which was just a joy, because we needed to be there for 6:30 opening time. So yeah, I got up super early for absolutely no reason, and then was kind of hanging around. And then I heard her get up at 10 to 6. So I was like, well, if she's up, we might as well get this party started. Left the house 6:15 in the morning. Got there for opening. Went in. Saving grace was somebody bought me a coffee. I was like, well, keep them coming. But it was a climbing type of situation. So what did we learn from climbing this time? I think this is the way I explained it to other people. I think my confidence was down. Whereas the first time I went, I was like, I am not going to let this beat me. I am not going to be afraid of this. I need to conquer this. This time when I went, I think I was more like, I'm just here to say that I did it. And that wasn't it. It was a lot harder than I remember, and I was saying to my eldest, I was saying to Ed, who's been on the podcast many moons ago, I was like, this is so much harder than it was last time. One thing both myself and Ed agreed on was that the last time we'd gone, it wasn't hot as balls. I was like, I am dripping. I was pouring sweat. Ed was like, it's very warm in here. You know, they put the fans on to cool it down, but it takes a while. I think it's just a warmer day. There was a point where I had to have a sit down because I felt unsteady. I didn't achieve as much as I had the time before. They got me trying stuff that was way outside of my capabilities. The last time I'd gone, my feet hurt whilst I was doing it. This time, my hands were stuck in some kind of strange claw situation. There were the points where I was like, I'm not going to let this beat me, and I managed to achieve some of getting full climbs. And there were other times where I was like, I'm not going to let this beat me, and then I'd get 2/3 of the way up this wall and be like, I can't go any further. It was a completely different experience to the previous time of going. What was super fun was the next day, I'm like, I guess I didn't get any sort of muscle ache, muscular ache of any description, which seems strange because I will have been using muscles that I don't normally use, and maybe it's just because I work out every day, and maybe it's that. It still seems strange, all that sort of stuff that goes through your head, not realizing that just give it an extra day and then be like, oh my god, I'm in so much pain. And that lasted literally, I think we went on Thursday. I was fine Friday. Then Saturday, Sunday, and today, I'm like, I am still feeling it. So far through the experience, I was getting to the back end. This was the point I had to have a rest. I had to have a sit down at one point. I was drinking my coffee. I was like, I don't think I'm going to do this again. I don't think I'm going to come again. I don't think I'm going to come to climb again. I think this is something that I just have to let go. This is not for me. I am a giant man. I am massively overweight, and the last thing I need to be doing is climbing up a wall like some kind of, I don't even know what you want to call it, like some kind of manatee. That's the last thing I or anyone else needs. However, I don't know if it was the process, standing there feeling like I'd had the shit kicked out of me, drinking a coffee, a moment to contemplate, to ponder, to whatever. I went, hang on a minute. They say you're supposed to do things that you don't, that you're not good at, you don't excel at, it doesn't come natural, outside your comfort zone, something that scares you. Honestly, once I pass halfway, 2/3 of the way up that wall, it's just nothing but fear. There was a point where I'd gone up a climb and got stuck. I didn't have the strength to be able to let go with one of my hands to do this thing, but I knew I was kind of had to. And then I was like, I need to come down now. And I started coming down, but I started coming down a different way to the way that you go up. You go up kind of diagonally, and I started coming down straight. And I reached a point where I went, there's nothing I can use to get down. And I'm about 10 foot off the ground right now. Obviously, there's mats and things like that you can just drop. But I know somebody who has been deeply hurt in this situation, and somebody who's related to them has also been hurt in this situation. With my recent, bone breakages and face smashing and all that sort of stuff. That's the last thing I need. I don't need to fall off a wall and break something. So then I was like, now what do I do? And in the end, I had to sort of start moving across to then come down. And I was proper like, this is scary. This is terrifying. This is whatever. So I'm stood there. My hands hurt. My arms ache. I feel physically, mentally, and emotionally drained. I'm drinking a coffee. I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to do this again. And some part of me was like, and that is the reason you should do it again. And that is potentially the reason you should do it regularly. And I went, you're insane. However, did have a conversation today where I was saying, it might be something that I put into general rotation of things. And I listed a list of reasons why that might be. You should do things. If I run pretty much every day and I work out pretty much every day, I should do something that uses other muscle groups to round that off. That's the way you're supposed to do things. Allegedly, you're supposed to do other things. So we shall see. Had one of those things where my eldest had a friend to stay over, and there's that part of me where I want all of my children to have a great time all the time, or as close to as. Add another child, and I'm a bit like, well, I want my children to have a good time, and I'm happy for you to come along with us to have a good time, whether it's this or that or the other. So the last time my eldest had a sleepover, we went swimming. And other than a tooth-related issue, I believe it was a good time, an enjoyable time. Everyone had fun. Boom. Mic drop. Obviously this time, well, we've got to kick that puppy up a notch. It absolutely wasn't that, but there was a small amount of that. So I'm like, well, I was going to take nearly all of the children to play mini golf. Something we do frequently. Some would say too much. Others would say not enough. Who knows? But it's something we do. And the only way I could make it work was to go on the day that my daughter had her friend to stay. So I was like, well, I'll just take them all. It's not going to break the bank too much. So that was that. So away we went to do our golf. So we get there, we get the clubs, the balls, the whatever. They go through one of the courses. Some of it was broken, so we were like, well, we'll just avoid those courses. Job done. And off we go. Now the time we go, you can go early to get a discount, and I'm all about a discount, so that's what we do. We go a little bit earlier. Job done. What it does mean is the reason that they do this is because nobody really goes at that time, so it's often very quiet. And there weren't that many people there. A little while after we arrived, I saw this group. And there were 3 boys, 3 girls. Teenagers. I was a bit like, oh, bless. It's like it's not a double date, it's like a triple date thing. I was like, oh, they'll all be that sort of age where it's like new relationships. We're all friends, but, that kind of situation. And I saw them, and they were on a different course to us. It wasn't like there was any issues or anything. They were on a different course. They all seemed to be reasonably well behaved. They were all having a great time. Boom. And because you move round, I saw them at various different points. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, that'll be my children. My children will reach an age where it's like, we're this age and we can go and do things on our own. We're of an age, we've got a friend or a couple of friends or some boyfriends or some girlfriends or some partners or some whatever, and we want to go and do an activity. So we're going to go and we're going to play mini golf, and it's going to be me and my 2 friends and their boyfriends and blah 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 blah, their girlfriends, da 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 da. And I realised that I was like, I'll be there going, okay, cool. Can I come? Because I'm there with like all these kids, and I'm like, oh, this is fun. We're having a good time. I was teaching a couple of them like different things about like how like the mentality of golf. Even when you're playing mini golf, all the things are still there. The angles, if you hit the ball like this, it's going to go the direction you want it to go, rather than hitting it and spinning round and on the spot sort of thing. And we were getting some good results, and all this, I was like, oh no, because potentially there's loads of parents missing from that group over there, and maybe like 1 or 2 or 3 parents just drop them off. We're like, oh, I'll see you in a couple of hours, or oh, are you getting the bus home, or oh, are you going for something to eat after this? And I have this timer, like this countdown in my head where I'm like, from where I am now to the point in time where my children won't want to spend time with me. And I have just spent all this time working on the principle, once they hit 18, that's that done. And for some of my children, I can actually physically count the number of times that I will spend time with them between now and then. This child's got X number of years left, X number of times. And it's like, I will see this child this number of times and then that child will be gone. Because you have to, there is an unfortunate element that you have to work on the principle that once they reach a certain age, they're just gone. They've got their own lives, they've got their own friends, some of them have got their own families, they've got their own careers, they've got their own whatever. They've got their own life. And you may feature in that some. You may feature in it a lot. You may feature in it loads. Or you might feature in it not at all. Or very little. Or only a touch. And your conversations with them might be in person. They might be in phone call form. There might be a text once a year on your birthday. These are the things you have to look at and go, I am here now, and if I live that long, I am only going to see that child this many times between now and then. And when you look at that and you take it from this age to 18, that's a particular number. When that child gets to 14 or 15 and starts saying, oh, I'm off to do this, and I'm like, oh, cool, can I come? It's like, of course you can't come. I'm off to do that with my friends. And I'm like, yeah, but I haven't seen you. Well, yeah, but I'm off with my friends. That's one less time of spending time with that child. And I was watching these kids, and I'm like, oh, that's gonna be one of mine, 2 of mine, 3 of mine, all of mine at some point. Out having fun with their friends and stuff, and I'll be sat at home going, oh, I wonder if they're having a good time without me. So yeah, in the midst of all this, we're having a good time, we're playing golf and we're playing arcades and we're doing this, that and the other, I was also really sad going, won't last forever though, will it? I imagine all of that was particularly morbid, especially if you're a parent. So let's move on to something. I felt like my body was dying. There you go. Something more light-hearted. This will sound negative, and it's not negative. I'm going to say this now, and I'm going to repeat it a few times throughout. I would far rather this be the situation than not. However, children's holidays look a lot like your children aren't there and then all of a sudden they are. So when you get out of bed, they're there. When you go and shower, they're there. When it's breakfast time, they're there. When it's time to do an activity, they're there. Lunchtime, they're. You get the picture. I don't have to take you through a day. But your children are there and they all want something. And you've got to entertain them and you've got to go places and you've got to do things. And it's super stressful. And you have to, in my case, you have to get up earlier to fit in your stuff. Running, working out, dog walking, going climbing at 6 o'clock in the morning. You have to stay up later because you didn't fit all of your running and you didn't fit your workout in during the day, so you've got to do it in the evening. And you've got 4 podcasts to do. And it's truly the burning the candle at both ends. So day 1, you're fine. Day 2, a little less fine, but fine. Day 3, you might fall asleep during a film. Still doesn't change the fact that you have to go to bed early. Day 4, day 5. By the time I get to like day 6, my body is doing 2 things simultaneously. One, it's going, if you do not feed me thousands and thousands and thousands of calories very, very soon, I might die on the spot. You're not putting enough fuel in for the output. Please sort this situation out. That's number 1. Number 2 is there's a level of exhaustion that comes in. Like I say, day 1's fine, day 2's less fine. It's like a percentage each day. but your output doesn't go down. So you're running at like, an 18-hour day where you don't sit down, you don't stop moving, you don't stop doing something, you don't stop dealing with somebody else's needs. None of that stops. You've also got to fit your own stuff in. Running, dog walks, working out. And find the time to also fit X number of podcasts in. And as I said at the start, I wouldn't change it for anything. I wouldn't change it for anything. What I am saying is that there is a feeling that happens about day 6 where you go, is my body dying? There's a level of exhaustion where you're like, I'm not eating enough and I'm really tired. And if I sit still for more than 0.8 of a second, I'm going to fall into a deep sleep. At times like this, I've managed to miss. If they sit down to watch a 1.5 hour film, I'll miss 1 hour 28 minutes of that film and not even realise. I am the true definition of that running dad joke of, this is dad when he sits down to watch a movie and it's just somebody asleep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh yeah, that's always fun. Smash the table to bits. It's a very strange feeling. I understand exhaustion. It's not that. This is why I bring it up. It's a different feeling to just being tired. It's a different feeling to being exhausted. It's a different feeling to being like, oh, I'm hungry. Like, hunger is in the rear view mirror. This is like you feel like your body's eating itself. Maybe it's that. Maybe your body's eating itself. That would probably make a lot of sense. Maybe it's just that. So, you know what would be the absolute worst possible idea after all of that? Leanne, bless her, obviously saw, hey, this guy's tired. He's been at it all week. She'd had a quote-unquote break twice in the week. She went to work. She worked 2 days. So, she was like, this guy's clearly tired. Been at it all week. Gonna leave him to have a lie-in because can just, move running back and all that. A lie-in wasn't the worst idea. However, it was absolutely the worst idea. There's been a thing floating around recently with the Barbie movie having been out. And it says 8 hours sleep, and there's a picture or a little video of Ken, and it's all dark and whatever. And then it's like 2 hours sleep and a cup of coffee, and it's like Ken sort of dancing away. And I look at that and go, I know exactly what that is all about. So Saturday had a lie-in, which is unheard of. I cannot physically tell you the last time I had a lie-in. Had a lie-in, got up, feeling like shit. Honestly, I was like, that was a terrible idea. I should have just got up and got after it and dealt with the rest of the day. And if that wasn't a bad idea enough, I followed it up with a lie-in on Sunday. Oh, sweet, sweet dear Lord. I got out of bed feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. Now, bearing in mind, like I was saying before, the climbing had started hitting my body by this point. Certainly Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and 2 of those days lie in. So my body had an opportunity to recover. My mind had obviously had an opportunity to recover. Everything was in recovery mode, which meant I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. And was just like, well, there we go. Maybe I should have just got up. Today's Monday. Monday's weigh day. After last week, I was like, well, look at it this way. There's absolutely no way I'm not losing weight this week. I was like, we're going to see it, ladies and gents. We're going to see that threshold being absolutely shattered. We're going to break through that barrier, break through that wall. I'm going to lose a pound. Don't think that's too much to ask. I'm going to lose a pound minimum. And everything's going to be worth it. Everything's going to be worthwhile. Everything is going to be great. You already know. You know what's coming. You know how I do these setups. I always set you up. And now I'm going to be like, but I did lose weight. No, I put a pound on. I put a pound on. I nearly launched the scales through the window, and the window wasn't open. Honestly, I was stood in the bathroom looking at the scales, and I was just like, why don't you just flip off? The level of anger I felt this morning looking at those scales, I was like, holy shitballs. I'm angry. And then I went, this is it. This is my plateau. This is the point I have reached. I cannot go any further. I've done years and years and years and years worth of abuse to my body. And this is it for me. This is my punishment. I do, on average, 11 to 12 miles a day in walking and running. I work out for what is basically an hour a day. Salad for tea, salad for lunch, small breakfast. This is it. This is my peak. And it's, conservatively, it's probably 4 stone over what it should be. But this is it. After the week I had, there was no way that I should have been looking at the scales and going, oh my God, I've lost 6 pounds this week. I would have then gone, yeah, I can believe it. But I'd have still been happy. I'd still been pleased. I'd have been like, 5 pounds. Yeah, okay, that's good. 4, okay. Do you know something? I'd have taken 1 because 1 would have pushed me through a boundary and I'd have been happy with 1. But no, I put a pound on. What is that? What is that? Explain that to me. Final thing for the week. I've realised that I hate Mondays. As I was explaining to Leon earlier, unlike the rest of society, I hate Mondays. There's just me and Garfield. That's it. Obviously, I know I'm not alone in this. Obviously, I appreciate that I am not the only person in the world that hates Mondays. But I was breaking it down this morning, and I was like, from the moment I step out of bed, I am losing the day. Get up, go and run. Not a great start to the day. Get home, shower, gather children, take children to nursery/preschool. Drop first child off, preschool, away you go, have a great day, that's that. Take the little guy to nursery, and then I'm like, I don't want to hand over the little guy, but I have to, and that's fine. but it's not. I hate it. And then I have to go and get in the car and I have to battle through traffic and idiots and people going to jobs that they hate, but it doesn't stop them being awful in the process of getting to said jobs. And then I've got to, got to get parked, get out of the car, walk, get to the office, be sweating buckets by the time you get there, go up 4 flights of stairs, sweating more buckets when you get there. Oh, good, the office furnace is on today. That's wonderful. So we have to deal with the fact that it's supposedly summer, but I'm guessing you've got the heating on. That makes sense. And then spend the entire day just pouring sweat. An entire day. And the whole time just being like, what is the point to this? It's miserable from the minute I step foot out of bed. How is that a thing? How is that the solution? I don't know. Anyway. No TV stuff. I'm in a bit of a funky place TV wise. I haven't got a TV show to watch. Like, I haven't got a TV show to watch. I don't know what to tell you. I don't have anything in the TV realms to watch. There's nothing new that I'm interested in watching. I can't tell you of anything old that I've particularly wanted to revisit. So I don't know TV for you, I'm afraid. If you want to recommend something, if you know something good, I'll happily give it a try. Movie-wise, I've written 2 movies down. The problem with the first one is, A, it's a rewatch. B, haven't finished it. Very little point in talking about that. So we'll move on to the second one, which is a rewatch, but it's a different kind of rewatch. So I'm not going to go into it a lot. What I'm going to say is this. I spent ages waiting for the machine to go on to digital. I was like, the moment that goes on digital, I'm buying it. And America had this big whole release for it on digital. And it was going on to this specific service, and then it was going on to, it was available on Amazon and every possible digital streaming service, barring, I think, Netflix. Nothing in the UK, not available in the UK anyway. However, I'd added the thing on Amazon to my watch list. Saturday night rolls around, Leanne's like, "Oh, we're going to watch a movie." I was like, sure. She's like, "Shall we watch the next Black Panther movie?" We're a bit behind with the Marvel films. I was like, if you want to, but I will say this, there's a reason that we've not been watching these films. So why now? She's like, "Oh, have a look and see how long it is." I looked and I was like, "You are never going to watch this film. It's nearly 3 hours long." And that was the end of that. She's like, "Have you got anything else?" So I started scrolling through my watch list and just randomly went into The Machine on Amazon. And it was like, buy now. Not only was it buy now, it was cheap. It was only a tenner. I bought it immediately and then was like, "Oh, you're not going to want to watch this." "Oh, I'll give it a go." No, because you won't like it and you won't want to watch it. And then you'll be miserable, and I'll be miserable, and then everybody's miserable. No, I'll give it a try. It's like, she was like, "Look, I'll give it a try, and if I don't like it, I can just leave, and you can watch the rest." I was like, well, that works. We watched it. Don't want to be that guy, but she laughed in the first 5 minutes. And I literally turned to her, I was like, "That wasn't a laugh, was it?" "No, I don't think so." We watched it. I think she was pleasantly surprised. I think there was elements that she thought were better than she'd expect. Probably not her sort of film. So you're never going to get past that, I suppose. I certainly enjoyed a rewatch of it. I personally think it's a good film. Couple of areas. And on a rewatch, there was 2 or 3 points where I was like, I think you could have just tightened those bits up. A couple of silly bits that could have been just tweaked ever so slightly so they weren't silly, which would have made them better. I still think it's a good film. I think it's an achievement. I am aware not everyone's cup of tea. Ugh, I just got water on the lung. Oh God, I hate that. I think it's in my nose as well. Anyway, 2 or 3 things games wise. My eldest has got into watching Marvel films. And I was like, hey, now that you're into all these Marvel films, I've got a game you can try. So I installed the Avengers game for her. Yes, I know. And then I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure that they said they were going to stop supporting this game, but they were also going to give all the DLC away for free. So when we finally got it installed, finally got it up and running, all the stuff was there. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's not a game I've been back to for quite some time. So I'll let my eldest loose on the Avengers game. Unfortunately for everybody involved, no matter how much I would like it to be different, my eldest is not a gamer. Some things she can do, and some things she can do well, and some things she enjoys, and the rest has literally no interest. And I had that thing, I was like, I personally feel like you should give this a go because it's got, for a lot of it, it's got quite an interesting story. But obviously to get to those interesting story bits, you have to play the game, and that's the bit she's not interested in. So I think she managed to get through the beginning and was like, yeah, there we go. I was going to say I think I uninstalled it, but I didn't. Sniper 3 was what I was playing the last time we spoke. It was definitely getting towards the back end, and like with a lot of things, when it gets like that, I'm like, oh, I don't want it to end, because you know what the end of a game's like. It means you've got to find something else to play, etc. But I was sneaky, and I was like, hey, I know what I'll want to play after this. I'll want to play Sniper Contracts 1 and Sniper Contracts 2. So as it was, I got those installed, ready, and then I finished up Sniper 3. There was still 2 guns that I didn't unlock. 3 guns I didn't unlock, which I'm pretty sure I had that the last time I played it. I was like, I can't be bothered to go and try and do something about it. Put Sniper 1 on last night. Found that I was like partway through playing one of the missions. I was like, right, let's get cracking. Got that mission finished up, and then realised that I've played the game before, finished it, but not got all the upgrades, because certain upgrades require certain like stipulation, like you have to do certain things to get certain credits to be able to buy certain upgrades, and I didn't have any of them. So I've obviously started the game again from the first mission and was part way through the first mission, and then I've just not gone back to it. However, having finished the first mission again, I was like, I'm not as interested as I wanted to be, because I know that I've only played Sniper Contracts 2, once. Is that true? Yes, that is true. I've only played it once. So I was more interested in playing that for a second time. I ran out of time last night. The problem with that game is that like singular levels can take days because they're broken up in certain ways, and there's a lot of trial and error involved, and doing it right versus doing it quick, I guess. So there was like a lot of like, I'll start this mission and finish it in 3 days kind of situations. So I think I'm going to give the second one a go. Obviously, a lot of replay at the moment, so I have said before I might knock the game stuff on its head until I get something new, but we'll see. Obviously, you can just skip the end of the podcast when you know it's getting to the game stuff, unless I'm like, oh, I've got a new game. There we go. That is this week's podcast, and I'll catch you later. So there we go. What do you think of that? Another one gone, another week gone, another podcast in the bag. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of podcasts in that bag. This is just one of them. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this. If you want to be a bigger part, you can click the subscribe button. That makes you a subscriber. Find out about new episodes. Like it so that other people know that you like it. Share it around. Tell people, friends, family, loved ones that you love the podcast. They should check it out. Leave a review. There's another one. Leave a review. Let other people know how much you love the podcast. And also, if you want to get in touch with us, or if you just want to look at a rather simple website, you can jump to our website, which is thecookiecast.com. There you'll find social media links and an email button, and that way you can get in touch with us. That's it for this one. Until next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to this episode of CookieCast.